Okay, we are back. I am joined with Mike Manfredi of the ClarionOS team. My name is Lovejoy, and today we have a very special set of updates and hopefully a productive Q&A concerning the upcoming historic EdenOnEOS election. So feel free to get the comments rolling in the chat, and we'll get to them after Mike introduces whatever he's got for us today. Bring it on, Mike.
Morning, Lovejoy.
Morning.
Thanks again for hosting. We're going to spend today, appropriately enough, or if we were French, apropos enough. I don't know the word for enough in French. I'm sure it's based on sufficient on the election. So I've got my short slide set, which for all I know may just have a disclaimer and election pointer to the election. So why don't we pop that up?
More disclaimers, honestly, at this point.
All about disclaimers. I love disclaimers. It's my favorite thing. All right, so let's see. The disclaimer, things change and we don't know everything now, so bear with us. They get shorter each time. Same resources we've had. There is new content in the wiki. That's the main thing we'll review today. But we have our landing page, EdenOnEOS.org. We have wiki.eoscommunity.org, and we have our GitHub repo, eoscommunity/Eden. Check us out there. All right, big announcement is the election. So the election is October 5th, 9 a.m., which is 1300 UTC. Yeah, we'll get into the details there. So let's just jump on to the main update. Brandon Fantra asked me to make sure we included here was change to the community room. We had cool and slightly overambitious ideas on having the community room be public. We'd obviously love to share what's going on in the election real time. It'd be kind of a cool thing for people to participate in. But the logistics of managing that and ensuring the success of the election they were just more complicated than they needed to be. And we are taking cues from Elon Musk and deleting requirements. So we deleted that requirement. We figured all videos are online, and we may even do a follow-up event, or if someone in the community would like to host a follow-up event for the public, it'd be really cool to have a follow-up where we review the videos and show this to the world. You know, not just video clips, but a real-time interactive session. I think that'd be a really cool thing to do. And then most of our focus today will be new election-related content and Q&A about that. And I don't think I have put anything else in here. I don't. Q&A. So let's switch screens through the magic of touchpads. So
thanks for the people working so hard on that touchpad technology, making this easier for Mike.
Exactly. Okay, let's switch over to...
Can you hear the cat purring? It's so loud.
So calming.
I have a cat purring in my lap right now, I think.
All right, so the Eden Wiki's been updated. This top content's been updated. I've gone through and updated some of this stuff. The last time we did a real overhaul on the wiki was when we were building the community, so a lot of it related to membership and inductions. So I've updated a lot of that phraseology to be consistent with where we are now. The main thing is the Eden election, October. Oh, wait, what did I say wrong? Oh, I put today. Oh, today's date. I said the election. The election is October 9th. Oh, did I get that wrong? That's hilarious.
I thought it was me, but I'm glad it was you.
I paused. My brain knew something was wrong.
October 9th. 8
Oh,
a.m. Central Daylight Time, 1300 UTC. Let there be no ambiguity about start time, and show up half an hour early.
I put today : and then my brain was like, oh, I know what today is. Thanks, brain. So yeah, Eden election is in fact October 9th, as it says in the wiki. So if we click there, that's where a lot of this information, the new information is. You got a link to the portal. This is the same link that we've been using for adding members and doing inductions, so no change there. What's different is there will be an election tab. So click on election tab for all of your election related details. I will show that, show pieces of that later. We have this wiki, which is the bulk of what we'll talk about today. I also found a tool to present it as a presentation. So we'll be rolling this presentation in the common room the entire time. So as you, we'll have opening comments and things, but basically as you get to the election room early, we'll open the room at 8:30. When you get there, that presentation will be rolling, and it'll give you an opportunity to just make sure you've got your ducks in a row. But ahead of time, you can also check out these links on the wiki and come up to speed. There's, in a sense, this is very straightforward. You have to have Anchor, which we all have because we're Eden members, and couldn't have become an Eden member without the Anchor wallet to interact with the portal. And you need to have familiarity with Zoom. A lot of people do. Plenty of people don't. And that's Zoom and Telegram. Telegram being our means of coordinating and communication, and Zoom being our means of having the meetings, but also critically recording the meetings. Those are the two things that you need to be familiar with. And we have done our best to put what you need in that wiki page. So we'll go to there in a moment. And then we tied in some other resources. Thomas put together a detailed FAQ about the election to answer all of your election questions. This points back to the top page of the wiki we just came from, which allows you to read about other things. I updated terminology, the glossary section, I updated quite a bit. Deeper dive for anyone who hasn't seen this yet. All of the live streams and conversations with Dan, I have crunched them over time into this massive Q&A about Eden mechanics. I did not review that entire thing because it's really long, but I think most of that, I think I made the relevant updates. And, and this is the link from above. So let's dive in here, and feel free to ask questions as we go, because this is the content. This is what we'll be doing during the election, and I want this to be as clear as possible. And for the most part, since this is in the wiki, we request everyone check this stuff out and make sure you're familiar with this stuff. When we get to the time of the election, you'll have an hour for the round, and you'll have to be able to vote, and you'll have to be able to upload your videos. Upload your videos, you'll have 48 hours. Voting, you'll have that 1 hour of that round. So just make sure you're comfortable with everything and know how things work. Timeline. So some of this I'll go through in detail, some of it I won't. We're going to open a common room. That'll be available for members at 8:30. And we'll have some opening comments. Dan will give opening comments. I'll run through some basics, and we'll have that slide set running. You'll have your first round right at 9 o'clock Eastern. That round will be split. A lot of this we've talked about before, but we're going to just crunch this down to the basics you need to know. A lot of each hour is going to be broken down into 10-minute startup where there's no meeting available, and then 40 minutes where the meeting's actually running. That's where you're going to jump in and talk to people and come to consensus on who to become the delegate. And then you're going to have 10 minutes at the end, which you can take as break. You can take as great opportunity to upload your videos. But by the time that hour's up, voting is ended. So you want to make sure you get your votes in, because votes can't be cast after that hour. Each round is self-sufficient in that sense.
Mike, could you Is it possible for you to manually zoom that screen so that it takes up more of the space on, so they know it's kind of small, like using?
Is that enough or good or more?
Oh, you can go more if you can. You're just using a command plus. Cool. That's probably better.
All right, perfect. Let me check one other thing here. Yep. Okay. Brandon's watching me. Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate the support. Other Brandon.
I'm Lovejoy. I don't know who this Brandon is. This other Brandon. Yeah.
Miles. Let's see. If you voted in round 1 and you became the delegate, you'll be bounced to round 2, and round 2 will have exactly the same structure. So this 10 minutes at the beginning, if we look at 10 minutes at the end, 10 minutes at the beginning, you'll have 20 minutes where that's break time, breakfast time, coffee time, or upload your video time and make sure your votes are in. The voting is really the critical thing because that's the time limited thing. All of that's got to get done in an hour. And now, rather than, a Telegram chat and a live room where we're saying, hey, haven't heard from group 3 or whatever, we can do stuff manually. This is now a contract that's going to execute on time, and you've got an hour to get your votes in. So be sure you're watching the timer, and be sure you know how to get your vote in. And then after round 1, if you don't become a delegate, you'll have no further participation. The UI will show you that, or tell you that. And you can jump back in the common room, which I assume would be pretty quiet most of the time. The common room will be open the entire time. It'll be a place to go for technical support. At some point, I would imagine after round 1, it'll be a little bit of a discussion, potential for a discussion room. Just debrief and talk about the experience. And then the final round, if you become a chief delegate, which is the second highest position, this will be a final round run by sortition, so randomly selected, so that out of those chief delegates, we choose one head chief.
Mike, quick question from Chris Barnes. Any comment on why the reduction from 50-minute rounds to 40-minute?
Yeah, this was actually, how best to say that? There are easy means of doing things and hard means of doing things, and sometimes the shortest path is also the best. Oh man, how do I say that? I have a thought in my head I have to squeeze out into words. Sometimes using the restrictions we have naturally are better just because we don't have any other way to make the decision. And we have Zoom. Zoom for free accounts is a 40-minute limit. So rather than ask the entire community to pay for Zoom or deal with a technology that's not as good as Zoom, because Zoom, if you have used it, you may have found Zoom is really good. There's a lot that Zoom does that a lot of other platforms don't do. So the 40 minutes comes from the fact that Zoom meetings, if you have a free account, are only available for 40 minutes. So that's why. We started off with 50 minutes so that it was 50 minutes plus 10 minutes, 10-minute break, and that was an hour round. So we thought 40 minutes versus 50 minutes is largely equivalent.
So, so Eden members have to fire up their own Zoom instance, and it'll depend on who's starting that up and recording in order to.
So you'll wanna have a Zoom account. You don't have to have a paid account, but you have to have a Zoom account. And this, by the way, anyone who knows this in detail will know there's some of this that's not 100% true. There's a little wiggle room, but we're giving you the easy, reliable solution. We're looking for reliable just to minimize churn during the election. Go get a free Zoom account, zoom.us. Really easy to get, doesn't cost you anything. That'll get you the 40-minute meetings. The meeting links, we're coming down to the wire on this, but we believe all the EdenOS is built around, we'll be able to generate a Zoom link for you. So in the UI, you'll have a button. You'll have the election page will show you the round you're in. It'll show you round 1, and you'll have a Zoom link button that'll generate the meeting that you can then join. So you won't have to create in all likelihood, you don't have to create a Zoom meeting. We'll talk about fallbacks and backups just to make sure. But the plan is we'll generate a meeting for you and you'll be able to join via that link.
Chris asks, is there any concern with two individuals opening a Zoom for their room at the same time? So 2 rooms open versus 1.
With the portal built the way it is, the expectation, the portal way we built it will only produce 1 meeting link. So no, if you go outside of the portal or you have problems with the portal and you're working, you just need to coordinate a room, absolutely, that's a potential. What we recommend, that'll be later on in the fallback section, what we recommend is connect with your group on Telegram. We're all on Telegram. We're all connected in the Eden member channel. So we do have means of communicating, and that'll be the fallback to coordinate. Hey guys, I just created a Zoom room, and negotiate like you would with any group of friends.
Thomas just chimed in saying free Zoom accounts allow 40-minute meetings and the ability to record to your desktop for free.
Yep. All right. Any other questions?
Not currently.
All right, great. Let's talk about what to expect during the election. Each round is in our case, with the numbers we have, 4 to 5 Eden members each. So everyone will be randomly grouped. You go into that meeting, you'll chat about issues and who you want to delegate to, and you'll vote and push someone up to the next round. That'll be a successive thing where we regroup the delegates into new groups and do the next round. Voting. So we kind of did a lot of stuff out of order. So a little bit of this will be repeat, but I'll just go through it because this stuff is important and we should say it a few times. You'll vote during the round on who you think should advance. The portal will show the voting results in a leaderboard. This is an opportunity to vote as you talk. You don't have to have a vote per se. Just have your election portal up and vote as you go. You'll be able to see real time as people vote and who's in the lead. Why is it a leaderboard? Well, we need to come to consensus. And in order to come to consensus, we need to know who's got how many votes. So I might say, well, I'd really like to be a delegate, but this person has 2 votes. And if I add mine to their votes, then we get represented. We have 2 minutes left and we don't have consensus yet. I'll change my vote. I think they're a good person, even though I'd like to advance. That'll give you that continuous feedback on who's voting for whom and how close the group is to consensus. Consensus is built. This is in the Eden Q&A as well as this document, obviously. Consensus is based on the number of votes cast. That is probably not intuitive. So just note that as you see what we call the consensometer that shows you where you are in the consensus process, the number of boxes, the number of votes, that's the total, the denominator of the vote. So number of votes cast, not number of people in the room. Let's see, consensus. You need greater than 2/3 mathematically. And the delegate must vote for themselves. This is them indicating that they're willing to become a delegate. Anyone who doesn't vote for themselves, the system takes that as we shouldn't advance this person because they don't want the accountability. So take note that you may hit a scenario where you have enough votes, but the person you are voting for doesn't want the position. I'd have to imagine, since we're all in a live video discussion, that's going to be the rare case, but just FYI, those are the rules. I will not ask if there are any questions, so Lovejoy, please do jump in if there are questions.
Will do.
All right. All right, after the election, budgets. And actually, hold on one sec while I write a note, which I did not write. Important things.
Never stops working. This man never stops working. When is the election? October 9th. What time? 8 a.m. 1300 UTC, 8 a.m. Central Time. Be there early. That was my little PSA while you were writing your note.
Perfect. Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right. What to expect after the election. So budgets are the main topic after the election. When you become a delegate, you get a budget. We have the community treasury, which is dispersed 5% per month. 5% of the budget per month allocated to all delegates, divided evenly by level. And then each level has a different number of delegates at that level. So each level is then divided per delegate. That process of disbursements will start immediately when the election is complete. So that'll be that day, and then every month after that. So the more you advance, the more budget you are being entrusted with. All right, let's see. Requirements in the election round. I don't want to just read this, so let me just skip through things that I think people don't already know or really need to be called out here. You do need to appear on camera and be visible. You do need to record your meeting. That's something that if you're not familiar with Zoom, I highly recommend you just spend a few minutes getting used to Zoom. Get your account, create a meeting with a friend, record a meeting. With a free account, as Thomas said, you will be able to record to your local machine. There is another option to record to the cloud if you have a paid account. Just know your options. The simplest way is going to be have your free account and record to your computer. That'll be the reliable minimum approach. Okay. And you will have a 48-hour window. Even though the election is complete, you will have a 48-hour window to upload your recordings of your meetings. And the recording of the meeting, why do we upload that? That's proof of consensus. That's just showing the history of what we came to. That doesn't replace voting. Voting must happen. Voting on chain is the way we know who won. But the proof of the meeting happens in the video upload. All right. Technical prerequisites. So everyone's been through this, but just to review, you need the Anchor wallet configured with EOS. You want to make sure all that's set up. Anchor's got the fuel system, which helps ensure that transactions go through reliably. That I have seen that work a bunch of times. And there are times when I believe I've had to use EOS PowerUp, and EOSPowerUp.io. If you don't know of the tool, it's another tool to know. Fuel's nice because it's built into Anchor. It should cover you without you even realizing it. If you ever do need a backup, know about EOS PowerUp. Go read about it. Understand how it works. It's a very valuable tool that has helped us significantly so far. Okay, that covers that. If you have any trouble with the web portal and you're not a web developer, if you're on a Mac, Command-Shift-R will hard refresh the screen. If anything just gets wonky or doesn't seem to be updating, this is just something to know about web pages. Control-R on Windows. Just reload the page. It's kind of like the equivalent of, did you turn it off and turn it back on? All right, instructions. So you're going to log into the portal. That election page, again, is going to have the status. That's where you're going to track what's going on. What round am I in? Who are the people in my group? How do I vote? So the first thing you'll run into is the common room. So you'll have a join community room. This link will link you to the Eden members Telegram channel, where we'll have the Zoom information. There's reasons we did that. I'm not going to go into that, but that'll be the way that you find that common room, which I'll do a PSA here as well. Please do verify that the people you've invited to Eden are in the Eden members channel. That will be the hub for communication up to the election. And then once we're in this community room, we'll have the Zoom chat as well as another hub. All right, you're going to join your group meeting. You'll come to consensus. You'll record your meetings. You'll upload your videos. The election video upload service is part of the portal. So you'll have a button that'll say upload your video. This will jump you to a new page that handles nothing but video uploads. It'll show you a list of rounds you were in or that have completed, or I can say that both, completed and that you were in. And for each of those, you'll be able to select a video and upload that video. You want to make sure this screen is complete within that 48 hours. All right. You may see a banner at the top that says enter your password. This password is what we use for encryption of content between members of your group. So how do we get you a Zoom link without publishing that publicly? It's on chain, and the only way to have it on chain and not have it be public information is to encrypt it. That's why the password. You can enter your password, which should be in your password manager. But if you don't have it for some reason, you can also regenerate your password. This password, critically also, has to be on the device you're using to participate in the election. That's where the password's going to matter.
Got a few questions, and we should revisit that password thing because I think that's going to be a point that trips up a lot of people. But we'll get back to that. Christopher Barnes, is there a minimum requirement of the meeting recording, i.e., what if the recording only catches the latter half of the meeting?
That is a great corner case I have no answer to. The meeting, well, not that I have no answer. Here are the pieces of the answer I can say. We're looking to prove a couple things, right? Did you show up? Were you, right? Were you on video? Being you is such a dumb way to say that, but this is proof of identity, right? We want to make sure that a person that we know to be you showed up on video and participated. So any chunk of the meeting will prove that. It's also proof of the conversation and consensus, right? 3 months into a 6-month election cycle, if we want to know, well, what did this group talk about, right? What if there's a dispute that the people who voted for this particular delegate said, hey, he got a budget and he's not spending it the way we asked him, that we agreed he would spend it. Well, the video is going to be the proof of that discussion and what was agreed. So the preference is going to be have multiple people record the session. You might have bandwidth issues. You might have random interruption, computer battery dying kind of stuff. You want to make sure you have a reliable recording. So a lot of what happened in the trial elections is multiple people would record it, and multiple people can upload videos as well. But you really do want someone with a complete video. And if multiple people are recording, someone's going to have that in all likelihood. So just find out who has the best and upload that one.
Okay, and then another question from Felix Ruiz. Does the sortition winner get their own budget on top of the budget of the final round?
Yes. So let's just clarify terminology. So the second, there's going to be the head chief, right? The person at the top, and then there's going to be the chief delegates. The chief is chosen from the chief delegates by sortition. And yes, the head chief will have a distinct budget above and beyond the chief delegates.
Cool. And dun. We got a nice little spread of questions here, so I'm going to keep going.
Okay.
What happens if a meeting video doesn't get uploaded?
So the answer to a lot of questions, and this falls in the category, so I'll just call out the category, is there's two forms of what happens. One is, what is the contract able to validate? The contract will calculate consensus, and you either promoted someone or not. That's calculatable. There are other things that's not calculatable, right? Did we get a video? Well, yeah, we can calculate that. Were the right people on the video? that they have their video turned on. There's a lot of stuff the contract can't know. So everything that's softer, right? These softer issues that a contract can't decide. This is why we have this election in the first place. This is why we have this community, this mechanism to resolve disputes and come to consensus, because we need that human evaluation of what's going on. We need humans who can look at a video and say, yeah, I was in that meeting and that's what happened. So the contract can't kick you out if you don't have your video on or some detail about the video. Specifically, if I take that question very literally, the contract will proceed without a video uploaded, right? The election will complete based on votes. The 48-hour window to upload videos is above and beyond that. So if you don't upload a video, but everybody votes and you come to consensus, things move on. The general impact, though, is reputation. This is a high integrity, proof on the blockchain kind of community, and not having that recording ever uploaded will likely impact your reputation with the community who expects these things.
Good answer. Keeping on that theme, Lenny says, submit recording of a meeting via portal within 48 hours, but funding distributed right after voting. So funds in hand also if any fraudulent hands discovered. Yep.
Yeah. Each of these scenarios, you have to look kind of zoom in and look at the likelihood and impact. The likelihood of people, what kind of fraud are we talking about? If you got through a live meeting with other committed people from the community and they actually voted for you, how likely is it to be fraudulent? Pretty little. The more you're voted up, the more times you've had to pass that test, the more money you get. So what's the consequence of that kind of fraud? Right? We already have the likelihood low. And what's the consequence of it? Well, the likelihood gets dramatically lower that you'd make it up the ranks where you'd get a bigger budget. So the impact financially is not that big a deal. I think the scenario that's most interesting is, well, what if we do get someone who told a great story and everybody bought it and they got elected to a position, they got elected to a big position, chief delegate or higher. The or higher is relying on sortition, so that's a matter of chance. If they get up to the chief delegate level and they start misusing funds, we'll evict them. We'll have a process for eviction. It's literally the next thing we're building. So the community will have the capacity to evict someone, and because of how funds are distributed, the biggest impact they're going to have is to spend 1 month. I mean, if the community acts quickly, they'll be able to spend 1 month of the community's budget. So the impact on such fraudulent behavior is minimal.
Lenny says, good answer, makes sense, thanks.
Sure, thanks for the question.
Fancher chimed in earlier with partial unanswer to the question you've kind of already covered, which is each participant can upload their own recording of a meeting. So if yours is a partial recording, still upload it, others will likely have recorded more of it.
Right.
And then this one for fun. Giorgio, hi, can I ask you if the election will affect EOS price?
No. You know what? Since the price is a live moving thing, I'm going to say absolutely the price will move around the election, and I'm sure it's causative, not just correlative. That's my answer.
You're being sarcastic.
A little bit. I have no idea. I mean, fingers crossed, right? We'll see. But to give a serious answer, kind of related to that question, we're doing something revolutionary here. You know, this is DPoS was revolutionary, and it had its limitations. And Dan continued in the inquiry of, well, what are the limitations and how do we get around them? And this is
DPoS meaning delegated proof of stake, for just in case it needs to be clarified.
Thank you. The consensus mechanism, the governance / consensus mechanism for the EOS blockchain. Dan has been looking to solve this governance problem and build communities online for a long time. And this is the next iteration of that thinking. And so I have to think, as we iterate this and make this thing work, this is going to be a big deal. And will that impact EOS price? Who knows? But it's certainly going to produce value. Hopefully price and value have something to do with each other.
Oh, if only that were like a really well-established thing. Okay, we kind of reached the end of our stream of questions, so carry on.
Let's see.
Hey, that's you.
Hey, it is me. So let's talk about this scenario. There's a couple, I'm not going to go through the details here, but basically, if you have an issue with your password, if you have an issue with the Zoom link, there's a couple things that could go wrong, or you might just want options or whatever. Remember that, I really wish this was plural. Johnny Branches sounds like a great name. Every place you see someone's name in the UI, and I said every place, almost every place you see someone's name in the portal, you'll see the Telegram, the at prepended name. That's going to be their Telegram name. That's the way you can find them on Telegram. You can search for that name on Telegram, or you can click on their chip and get their profile. This is my profile, and down here you have Telegram. So if you have any need to coordinate, do something manually outside the process, something that doesn't work, you need to get a new Zoom link out there, remember you've always got Telegram, and you have the how to connect with people built in to the system. And if you're looking for someone, this would be in your election round, right? You'll have a list of people you're participating with in that group. So that most of the people you want to meet, like if you have an issue getting into that room with that group, you're literally going to have a list of people, and you just click on them right here, and you'll get the profile. If you need to search for someone, you can go to the members section, the community section, and that'll allow you to look through a list of members. But for the most part, the people you want to communicate with during the election, their info is right there.
And don't be looking for an actual search function. He literally means you just have to look through the list, because search is coming, but it's not there yet.
Exactly. All right. Setting up Zoom, create your free Zoom account. You'll want to record in gallery view. So when you get into Zoom, this button will be in the top right of the screen. Gallery view will just show tiled instead of the speaker view, which will switch every time someone talks. The gallery view is what we want to record. There are some Zoom settings, just in case you use Zoom for your day job or whatever. There are some settings that can interfere with recording in gallery view. So we suggest you record locally to your machine, and that you select gallery to do that. We also recommend you do a test recording. Get on with a friend and make sure you can record in gallery view. How to record. I'm actually going to start skipping because we're running out of time, but I just want people to know what's in this document, and this is all in the wiki. How to record. You got a record button, and this is one of the big logistical deals. The first person to create the meeting link will be the host, right? So when you get a list of people, you'll have someone designated as the host. The host is the only one who will be able to record at the start. So anyone who wants to record, you can request of the host to click on you. This is in the participants tab. So you click participants, you get this view, you click more, and you click allow record local files. So that's the host granting other people ability to record. And again, depending on the type of your Zoom account, you've got stuff like make co-host. There are other options, but the simplest is go into participants, select the person requesting record permission, and give them record permission.
Crucial detail.
Crucial detail. Okay, voting. You need to get your votes in during the hour. I said that earlier. We have a pimer. A pimer is a timer in the shape of a pie chart. So this is a pimer. Watch your pimer. During your round, this will tell you, you'll get a 10-minute countdown at the beginning as the break time completes, and then you'll start the meeting, and the pimer will tell you how much time you have in the meeting. You want to make sure you're watching the pimer, because that'll tell you as you're approaching the end of that hour, and you need to get your votes in. So that's what it looks like. That's where it'll be located.
How are you going to participate in the election? Are you going to do split screen? I mean, maybe you have dual monitors, but are you going to do the Eden wallet / election interface open in one side and then Zoom in the other, or what do you recommend? What do you think?
Oh, I'll have them side by side. I'm pretty sure on the same computer.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, upload your group meeting. So uploading your meeting, we talked about this earlier. This is your election view. So round one is finalizing. Your meeting group shows who is in your group. I don't have the voting screen, but you'll see voting information here. And then upload round one recording. You'll click that and a new tab will open to the video upload service. And you'll be able to select for that particular round. You'll be able to open and close that round, select a video, and upload your video. Fallbacks, we've largely covered this by this point in the live stream, but if something doesn't work with Zoom the way we provide it, you can always create your own Zoom room and coordinate over Telegram to get everyone in the room. We also wanted to say, I don't know, it's in here somewhere, but for the sake of time, I'll just start saying these things instead of waiting for them to come up in the slide set. You can use other tools, right? This is built to be flexible with other meeting tools. However, as we prep for this election and tested out tools, man, getting recordings to work reliably, land in the right place, the quality, there's just all kinds of issues we run into. So we really do encourage you to use Zoom and record the way we're recommending here. If you really, really, really want to go outside that, just remember you have to get consensus with the people in your group to use your solution, and you've really got to make sure that you've tested it and that it'll do everything you want, including record audio. There's a lot of ways, especially on a Mac, to record what's going on video-wise and not get any of the audio, which obviously will not be that useful.
Christopher Barnes asks, if there are any issues with individuals signing a transaction to vote, will there be anyone deliberately available to support people in real time?
That is a great question. That's what the common room will be for, the community room. Brandon Fancher will be available, as will Todd and Steven, and Charlie will have a group of people in that room to help with stuff like that. And no one's going to have that issue because it's deterministic and it works beautifully. And as a absolute fallback, always remember that you can just pull out your phone and aim it at the screen and record the meeting. We did have someone do that in one of the trial elections.
And another PSA, and I'll probably repeat this several times before the election, make sure your Anchor wallet is the latest version of Anchor.
Yep. All right, communicating with your group. We already talked about this, and this is really, if you look up someone's Telegram name and try to find them, these are some screenshots that walk you through what to click on to actually find someone in the Eden members channel, which is definitely going to be the easiest way I know of to find it. And the last thing, what happens when we're done? We already talked about budgets. Let me see if there's anything here worth reviewing. Look people up in Telegram, communicate by Telegram. The virtuous cycle of our passion for EOS and this community, putting our time and the community's funds toward projects that will grow and strengthen EOS, will likely attract more funding and more trust and responsibility to the community. Let's keep that in mind as we do all the stuff we're doing, because we were an awesome community, and this is an opportunity to show off our talents and our capacity and desire to collaborate. So let's show the world fractal governance. That is it for the wiki. Again, this is in the wiki under Eden election October 9th wiki page. And if you really want to see it as a presentation, we have a whiz-bang special way to view it as a presentation. All right. Last thing, if you want to kill the screen share. Actually, I guess before I jump on to the last thing, any questions in the chat we can answer? So we have Felix is asking, are the rooms set to have 4 people in them? The groups are algorithmically sized. We're trying to get them to be a minimum of 4 and equally distributed. So there's actually a weighting that happens, a WEIGH-ing of how many people per group, so that we have X number of people in the top group. We're trading off width and size versus height of the final tree. So in this election, I believe we're still in the domain, in the regime where you'll have either 4 or 5 in your group. Any other questions?
No, just Chris telling me I was muted, but I think my last thing came across. Maybe either that or you just saw me flailing and waving. Yeah, we're all caught up on questions, and we've got a few more minutes, but you've got some sort of closing thoughts you want to share. And I have a couple of questions. Do you want my questions now?
Yeah, let's do your questions.
So Dan is going to deliver opening remarks. Is that going to happen right at 8 a.m. CDT or before? Or because he asked people to show up early, so I'm curious.
Yeah, it'll be before. We ask you to show up at 8:30. We will have
7:30. 7:30. It's my understanding that
8:30.
If we're talking CDT.
Oh, we're not talking CDT. No, everything's being specified in Eastern or UTC. So 8:30 Eastern.
It says CDT in the Eden election interface. Just FYI.
In one of the screenshots?
No, live on genesis.eden.eoscommunity.org/election. It says 8 a.m. CDT.
Because you're in CDT, right?
Oh, sure. So it's just adjusting for me.
Yep.
Well,
so that's the time the election will start. The election, right? The first round will start at 8 a.m. CDT.
Gotcha. So
the
half an hour before the start time, people should be there. And that's when Dan is going to talk to everybody.
Yep. Dan will talk to everybody about 10 minutes before the hour. I have some opening remarks as well, which is the gist of what I'll share now. But yeah, Dan will be on about 10 minutes before the hour.
Cool. All right, take it away. I forgot what else I was going to ask. So.
Okay, cool. So the other thing that, again, I'll be sharing in the opening remarks, but I think it's a super valuable thing to repeat a couple times. I think we should all be clear how we got here, right? We're standing on the shoulders of giants, as in a lot of things in life. There are people who came before us who set the stage. And I just want to call out some of the important people and factors that are allowing us to be where we are doing what we're doing. So Dan Larimer, starting a decade ago, actually he started his journey even before that, but let's just say a decade ago at the beginning of Bitcoin, was seeking an online money and found Bitcoin, studied Bitcoin, revolutionized blockchain technology with the DPoS blockchains, BitShares, Steam, and eventually EOS. And then went on to write an entire book on governance. Right? More Equal Animals lays out the principles of fractal governance that we built into EdenOS and that this community functions on. Without Dan, we don't have those ideas, we don't have that technology, and we don't have the opportunity to do what we're doing. Which naturally also leads into the peace treaty itself. The peace treaty is the heart of how we agree to work together, right? We've all agreed that those are the rules, that process is what makes our interaction fair. So I'd imagine a lot of people haven't read the peace treaty since you joined. Go read the peace treaty. It's one of those things to review and realize, oh yeah, this is the basics. This is just the basics, but these basics matter. It is the reason we can interact the way we're interacting in this community. And then my team, the Clarion team, Dan's team, we built EdenOS. I think it won't be long before people start not knowing that as we add to the community. So FYI, ClarionOS team, we're out there building EdenOS, and we're committed to this stuff, love building this, and love to see the community using it. So I acknowledge Dan for making all of ClarionOS possible with his ideas and funding and support in making all of this possible. And I acknowledge Brandon and the team for just top-notch software. We're building really cool stuff. We rely on each other every day, and man, it's awesome working with the team. I also like to acknowledge a broader group, a broader team that helped to bootstrap and is continuing to bootstrap this community. Dominic, Ray, Anna, Lovejoy, as well as many people in the community who I may have only talked to once or twice, but contributed, a technology or a thought or a suggestion or my next connection. There's a lot of interaction and a lot of time and a lot of commitment that got us to where we are. And then the EOS Network Foundation, right? Why do we have the treasure we have in Eden to kick off this first election? The first election, right? We're at the very beginning. And why do we have the funds we have to enact the consensus? Eve and the EOS Network Foundation. So big thanks goes out to the foundation and Eve for making that possible. And the growing team at the foundation that will continue to make that possible. And then the other thing, some of this is almost invisible. Behind this Eden portal is the endpoints we use to get all the data. And EOS Nation and Graymass are providing those endpoints. They're the two providers we use to provide the portal. They're doing that as part of being a BP. It takes something, right? It takes hardware, it takes know-how, and it takes something for that to be reliable. It's very easy to have unreliable servers, and they've got reliable servers that are making all this possible. So remember that the data is coming from somewhere, and remember that you're signing transactions using a wallet that everything you do in this interface is going to rely on the Graymass wallet. So thanks goes out to both of them. EOSPowerUp.io, big thanks goes out to them to deal with CPU issues and make sure that transactions can actually happen. And then Eden members. You guys are awesome. There's a lot of great people in this community. It's pretty awesome seeing us build, seeing this community come together and build what it's building. And then, I wanted to talk about what I labeled here in my notes, humble beginnings, but they're not exactly humble beginnings in a sense. During the trial election, John Boyd, we decided to fund his Telegram bot for EOS PowerUp. And he's currently got 100 weekly active users just with the Telegram bot. So out of a small budget and a trial election, right? No official election, no official budget. We got 100 weekly active users on a feature that he built out of that budget. And then the trial election 2, Ami will be releasing this, I believe, this week. Ami is building eosinAbox.com. It's hard to overstate the step that is. That's a big, big step. I'll let Ami talk about that as he shares the project with the community this week. And we have a follow-on that we call the Keymaster, because I'm a Ghostbusters geek, that will extend and talk about the future that is possible on Ami's shoulders. Ami's the giant in this case. Ami is taking this very important step to usability of blockchain on EOS, and Keymaster will be something that Clarion shares with the community to demonstrate what this first critical step can turn into as far as usability. So thanks to all of these people and all y'all who make all this possible.
Sweet. That was good. There's one question I missed, if it's okay.
Yeah, please do.
Dive back in one more. Felix, there was a follow-up to the algorithm that selects the room size. I think he's wondering about. So the algorithm is set to have a final 4, meaning 4 chief delegates. Is it the way that it's kind of set up to? No,
chief delegates can be. I think it's got the same floor of 4 and a high end, I believe, of 13. So when you consider how big the community would have to be to get 13 at the top, it's that final group will be whatever size it is based on the algorithm for equally distributing people.
Gotcha.
That last round can be bigger than all the other rounds because of sortition. It functions slightly differently, but yeah, it's not stuck to be 4 or 5.
Cool. And then just some praise. Manfredi has been lighting it up today with jokes. I've had a few laugh out loud moments. Great work, guys.
Wow, did I? That's good. I remember.
Lenny, great work. Done all around. Thanks to the initial group setting the stage through excellent teamwork. Awesome. Thanks, Lenny. Next show with some thumbs up.
And if you have any suggestion on what we should build that we call the gatekeeper, just let me know.
I was thinking about that already. Yeah, the gatekeeper. I want to say I am the gatekeeper, but I'm not. Just not.
Yes, I'm a friend of his.
Yes.
All right, that's it for questions?
I believe so. Unless anyone sneaks one in last moment here. I guess it's time. Well, we're just under an hour of actual live recorded time, so that makes for a pretty easy review for people that didn't tune in today. And for those of you who are tuned in right now and are watching, please encourage. It'll save a lot of headache if everybody just watches this 1 hour presentation. There's a lot of stuff in there that I think will make the process go a lot smoother. So thanks, Mike, for trying to forge a path through the process that'll minimize interruptions, and you did a good job with that FAQ. And we'll link to that, and I'll make sure I get that link from you, and I'll put it in the YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, sounds good. And I really encourage each person to look at who you've invited and be an ambassador, I don't know what the right term is, but support the people you invited. Make sure they're in the Eden members group. There are still a few people not in that group. Make sure that group is full of the right people. Make sure they know about the election. Make sure they've opted to participate, and make sure they've gone through this list and are set up to participate, without interruption.
Yep, all really good reminders. Yeah, a lot of people, it turns out, don't know that they need to opt in to the election in order to participate, and I believe it's 24 hours before is the cutoff, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you must opt in 24 hours prior to the election in order to participate. So yeah, get the word out. Cool. Smash the likes. Awesome work, guys. Let's go from Felix. And with that, y'all have a great rest of your Tuesday, and we'll see you next time. We'll see you at the election.
See you all there.
Very exciting.